Hello, I'm Rob McGlam. This is St. Bonaventure JMC 560, assignment 1.2 video journal. Our task today is to break down the three different online readings that we have been assigned. First one I'm going to start with is from the AP style book, Inclusive Storytelling, Inclusive Verbiage. Obviously, it's going to emphasize the importance of reporting in an accurate and honest way. It's going to provide context and guide the reader to recognize what is bias and what isn't. I think the struggle with bias sometimes is that sometimes it can be unwittingly ingrained or unwittingly taught, and people not realize it actually is a bias. The word I struggled with was, when I was a kid, was Oriental. And I had no idea that there were people from the East that would be offended, or that it was offensive to use the word Oriental, describe someone as an Oriental. Somewhere along the line that either it was there and I missed it, or it was there I wasn't taught correctly, or as time went by, the norms changed. But again, if something's offensive to someone, I certainly wouldn't want to say it. It just is an example of me not knowing, and I think that can be held in a broader context in terms of conversation in the world, of people, accusing others of belittling them and such, and saying, well, do we have a proper context? Do they know? Do they understand? And I think there is probably a lack of understanding. I know in that particular case there was with me. So inclusive storytelling, you want to use the what's called thoughtful language. You want it to be concise. You want it to be precise. You add background. You add the facts and storytelling, but you don't want to have, I guess the word I would use be like the token language, or language that belittles in a way where it's sort of off the grid. It's sort of belittling in a way where it comes across as being trite, almost in a nice way. So there's that. The next one, of course, is objectivity in sports journalism. The sports media guy who I was turned on to through St. Bonaventure. I had the good fortune of reading this. Talked about Red Smith and the Herald. I guess the Herald in New York. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of the Herald Tribune, New York Herald Tribune. And so he talked about DiMaggio's and Two Shores, the legendary restaurant in New York City, where all the Yankees and all the boxers and all, probably some of the gamblers too, would go to hang out. But objectivity is certainly an important thing. I think we all struggle with it because team allegiance is what gets us into sports. Team allegiance is what gets us into following politics or whatever, walk of life we're into. And journalistically, there was a team allegiance. There was an allegiance to a certain way of life or a certain ball club or player. For me, I grew up in North Carolina. I grew up a Duke fan. I grew up in Durham, North Carolina, but then I went to college at NC State, and I immediately flipped to being an NC State Wolfpack fan. Now I cover NC State, and I'm pretty oblivious to what they do. What they do is their business. I'm going to tell the story one way or the other. As I said, what they do is their business. What I do is mine. And if they don't like it, hey, go kick rocks. But, I have a bias in the NBA. I'm a huge New York Knicks fan. I'm trying to conjure up a way to get the Knicks to come back from the Indiana Pacers right now. I don't know if it can be done, but I do know that I've worked in the NBA before, and I do know that when I did, I had it trained to where I could flip it on and off like a switch. I don't know that everyone can do that. I can do it, but it is difficult, when you've loved a team and loved someone your whole life, to have that and just have that skill set of being totally objective. You have to critique sometimes the team that you grew up loving, and if you can, then you have a great balance. The last one was the I guess it's TED Talk or such. I'm not your inspiration. As soon as I clicked onto this, I knew where this was going. I kind of had a good idea where this was going, and I think in one sense we have to find that balance. Okay, this is a person has a disability or whatever, or deformity or whatever, people, we say that, but then in their mind, even that can be offensive. And so we have to, you're an inspiration. Well, she may not be able to grow as tall as you, or she may have a medical issue one way or the other, but other than that, she's every bit as equal as we are. She has all the skill sets, all the traits, and such to succeed. And we have to be worried that we have to be cognizant, I should say, of being condescending towards people who have those issues. We want to make sure they have a fair shake in life. We don't want to put them on a pedestal, because the pedestal is in a way a belittlement. So we have to find that balance, and that's where inclusive storytelling, it ties to it. So this is an enlightening course, and this is an enlightening part of the course, and I'm enjoying it, and I look forward to learning more in this regard so that I don't do it even unwittingly.